Doom Nation, what's up? We are back with Shayne O'Mac and another doomed review for Marvel's What If. What's going on, guys? How you doing today?
Doing all right.
Good.
Yeah,
Being we just did a whole nother podcast.
I know. And I've been with you for the past hour and a half. So
Yeah. So here we are. What if
on
episodes?
another dark and stormy night.
Yeah, episodes 3 and 4. So we're gonna start with episode 3, which was called
What if the world lost its mightiest heroes?
all right.
Yes. So from here on out, people, spoiler warning. If you listen past this point, it's your fault.
You had 2 weeks to watch this episode.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Off the bat, I liked it. This wasn't something. I don't think there's like a what if version of this in the comics. I'm not 100% sure, so don't fact check me on that. But this was a really good twist and a creative perspective of the whole what if season. This is what if we lost the Avengers before the Avengers were even the Avengers.
Yeah, I liked the creativity of it, and I liked how it went back to the original team, so it had a lot to do with the original team of the Avengers.
Yep.
And we kind of got to see them all again. Although one thing I thought I didn't like was they gave Scarlett Johansson a major role. Well, not Scarlett Johansson, but Black Widow a major role, and it wasn't her voice, right?
No.
So I don't know why you gave her such like a heavy speaking role in the episode without her. It could have been any of them, could have served her purpose. It could have been Clint.
because Disney doesn't care about their Marvel leading lady.
I guess so.
I liked being able to pinpoint the exact moments from like when each scene happened. I was like, oh, that's Iron Man 2. Oh, that's Thor. And it was just nice seeing being able to picture those entire actual movie scenes.
I think when they incorporate the movies into the what if show is a big part of what I like. So I really liked episode 1 because that was a lot of Captain America, the first Avenger, right from the movie. But episode 2, I gave it the lowest rating we've ever given any doomed review. And it was a completely different story, different movie, different idea, different path. And this one, I liked it because we had the tidbits from each movie, and I really liked we'll get into it when we talk to it, but go on with whatever you want to go next.
What's that?
Oh, dude, my favorite scene was the Hulk. Because
go for it.
We took remember when they attacked Bruce Banner at the school in the Incredible Hulk movie?
I honestly never saw that movie.
Oh, okay.
So you go for it.
Yeah, so it's actually a really good movie, and it's technically considered in the timeline of the Marvel MCU. So even though
it was Ed Norton, right?
Yeah.
Not Ruffalo.
So even though it was Ed Norton, it is technically still part of the MCU timeline as the Hulk standalone movie. Anyway, the scene when Black Widow finds Bruce Banner and they're in that glass covered hallway, in that big building, and the military shows up in that movie. As most people who've watched it remember, he runs into Betty Ross, his girlfriend. And that's when her father strikes, and they shoot gas cans into there instead of bombs. And as the room fills up with smoke, he turns into the Hulk, and it's effing on. He goes at the military big time. So for them to put Ruffalo in that scene, I loved every second of it. We got like the Hulk timeline movie with
Ruffalo.
Yeah, with the Ruffalo Hulk.
Yeah,
and it made it just that much better for me.
I see what you mean. It also kind of like recanonizes it in a way because I haven't watched that and I kind of don't want to because it wasn't Ruffalo, and I don't know. I feel weird about it, but I get what you're saying. Recanonizing of it.
It helps to give the people that haven't seen it an idea of where he was and before Natasha found him. And
I don't know why we didn't keep Ed Norton. I didn't mind him as Bruce Banner at all.
Yeah, I like him as an actor. He's pretty awesome.
I don't think he looked much like a Bruce Banner. The first guy who played it, which I think his name's Eric Banner, really looked like, comic book Bruce Banner. And Ruffalo plays a good Bruce Banner. But I don't know. I enjoy Ed Norton. I always have.
I agree.
I don't know.
Ruffalo's a miserable bastard too. So
Yeah.
in real life.
Yeah, I don't really care for him much.
Yeah, I mean, I like the episode overall. I was a little bit confused at times, like when Hawkeye like shot, who was it? Thor, right? He shot Thor. Like I was confused. Like I didn't even realize it was what happened. It was very like there was a couple things that were very confusing.
It's because with that specific one with Thor, it happened so quick that like
you almost didn't see it.
I think the one that baffled me the most was Clint.
Yes.
Because he was alive and then all of a sudden he's dead.
Oh, he was dead. Yeah.
Right.
But they never really showed how, whereas they showed for the rest of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Once again, you just see,
yeah,
you know, before we get to the end, you just see it like fly out, but like what killed him.
Yeah. Once again, Hawkeye got the short end of the stick in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
It's actually Jeremy Renner.
Yeah.
Yes, it was, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
One thing that was interesting about this episode is it was like a noir detective kind of like story where like
it had a great
Black
twist.
Widow's, you know, it was like
could have been like black and white. It's like Nick
yes,
PI.
Yes, right. And I did like how Loki was there also. That was interesting.
They're really pushing Loki as a hero hard, but
they should. You can't waste Tom Hiddleston, man.
It does that all played out very well. So I was mad that like out of nowhere T'Challa's necklace was the key to the spaceship. But this timeline played out well because at that point Loki did not have the Tesseract. Okay? Yeah. So it does make perfect sense that when Thor died, Loki showed up with an army from Asgard. That's it. We're destroying you all. You killed my brother. It's set the timeline much better that Loki wasn't even on his path to the Tesseract yet. You know what I mean? So like it was still like, so that was out of Thor 1. So he was still close to Thor.
Right. Close to Thor, but still not like.
Yeah, still the god of mischief, you know.
Still like you're not my favorite, but I also don't want you to die.
Well, right. If anything, he wanted to kill Thor, right? He didn't want anybody else.
That's what it was. Nobody could mess with my brother except me. It's that kind of dynamic. Because in Thor, at that point, Thor's just been kicked out of Asgard. And so for Loki, it's like it's his moment.
Right.
But he was still like, nah, that's my brother.
It's interesting, right? You got to think back to like where these characters are at that time.
At that time point. The question I have, since we're talking about Thor, I guess we should go through each Avenger and do little tidbits on them. But so we'll do Thor right now. This is a little nerd conversation question. Thor's a god. Thor is clearly one of the strongest Avengers. Thor is clearly one of the strongest Marvel heroes in the universe. Now,
kill a god.
Yes. Now I don't disagree that in battle with the Frost Giants or an Asgardian battle that an arrow can strike and kill Thor. I don't disagree with that because he's been in many battles and he could have died in hand-to-hand combat. Could an Earth Clint, Hawkeye arrow really have taken him out? Go ahead.
At that point, Thor was no longer worthy.
Right. He had his powers like stripped.
His powers at that point were coming from the hammer. He was now human.
Okay.
But then
I don't want to say human. It was kind of like Hercules, where like he's like, he's half god. That's kind of what it was.
Wasn't it another review though? How we were talking about Ragnarok and how like it's Thor's power didn't necessarily come from the hammer; it came from him as a god.
His dad had banished him, so I think
maybe he removed all powers.
That was sorry, Shayne. Yeah, that was the beginning of his story arc. He was no longer worthy, and it led to how that he was so worthy that he was the one to kill Thanos. At that point,
it could be he had to work up.
Yeah,
to his powers being as strong as they were, just like Loki and Sylvie. Yeah, practice.
It was from if you take from when Thor first came to Earth, all the way up to Ragnarok, which is after the first Avengers. Thor hasn't even reached his stride yet, where what he does in Endgame and Infinity War. So it's a long road for Thor. We are all the way back at square one. So Shayne might be onto something here.
That's the only logical thing I could think of, because like that man has taken everything. So an arrow normally would not.
Yeah, probably just bounce off of him.
Yeah,
An
it would like hit him,
arrow,
and he probably
I'd
just
say
like,
yes.
An Asgardian,
Yeah,
but not a
that's
human.
different.
You know,
This
me
is
and
just-
you. That means me and you, Cap, could kill Thor with our compound bows.
Yeah,
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't see me taking out Thor or Chris Hemsworth. Chris Hemsworth at any point in time in my life. So yeah, that's Thor. What did
the first
Iron
one
Man
was
quick.
Iron Man.
Iron Man.
He was quick. He was in. He was out. Was that even Robert Downey Jr.?
No,
I think so. No, I didn't see him like on the list of not actors who didn't voice their character.
Give me a second.
Shayne's looking up. It's weird. I wish they would.
No, it was Mick Wingert.
All right.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
No clue. Sounded like him.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did do a good job getting the fill-ins to sound
He
almost like
does the voice of Iron Man for other animated things.
Gotcha. What were we gonna say, Cap?
I do like that, like you kind of get some continuity of like how close Iron Man 2 and Thor and all that really were.
It was Iron Man 2, then Thor.
Yeah, like Coulson and Fury were literally going like, okay, we met with this guy, we're gonna fly.
They were
to
busy.
Like this.
They were
was
almost
all
happening at the same time.
within days of each other.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, it makes sense. They could have been happening at the exact same time.
Yeah, they could have been, right. Yeah.
Which gives another great perspective and good continuity of the Marvel timeline.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I guess the death of Iron Man is what really kicked this off.
Yeah, because
he was the first one to go.
Like I wasn't sure where this episode was going.
Exactly.
And I was like, okay, I know she like stabs him in the neck with the thing to give him the whatever to help his heart thing. That's English for you. And then he just drops, and I was like, fuck just happened.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
That was a WTF moment. I mean, but I think, you'd have to really like not know Marvel. Like, did either of you expect Black Widow like really murdered him? Like, I didn't think she was guilty for 1 second.
I thought maybe, right, because the whole thing was like a murder mystery sort of thing. So anyone's it reminds me of like a whodunit situation, right?
It's a
and
murder mystery,
right, and it could have been her. I was thinking like, no, I don't suspect her, but maybe I do. I'm not taking anybody off the table.
I took her off. I was like, I really don't think so, because at this point she was trying to change her life around.
Yeah,
because
she was new to Shield,
just like hiding in plain sight for Fury being his assistant or whatever.
Yep.
So I was like, I don't think she'd do that.
She would have had
that would have been
the
whole own episode.
At the same time, this is what if though. Like it could be anything.
It could be anything, but I really was not suspecting
she
her.
was at that point in time. It's Iron Man 2. She was already working for Stark. Working at Stark Industries.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Remember, she was
That's
undercover.
True.
She had a lot more opportunities to kill him then than there.
She could have done it whenever. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's a good point.
But,
so Hulk, we already kind of talked about, right?
But we didn't talk about how Hulk died.
He exploded.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was even for a cartoon. That was kind of disturbing. I don't know. I was not like I was uncomfortable.
I saw.
It looked very painful.
I saw a Facebook post, and they're like, "This is what we meant when we said just shoot Ant-Man into Thanos."
Yes, I was thinking that. Yes, that's basically the whole idea of what it was. I think it was a genius way to kill the Hulk. You know what I mean?
The only way.
Yeah. If you guys have ever seen The Boys, remember when they killed Translucent? His skin's as hard as diamond, so they shoved the bomb up his ass. They injected the Hulk with something, and they took him out from the inside out. Genius. I think that was great. Yeah,
because like in one, I think it was Ultron, he was basically saying like, or no, it was the first Avengers. He was like, I shot myself, and he spit it out. You can't kill him from the outside because the Hulk suspects it.
Yep.
If it's coming from the inside, as he's already the Hulk. Yeah. Actually, no, he was Bruce when it happened.
Yeah.
Him getting shot is what.
Yeah.
Triggered him.
The Hulk is always stronger than whatever. Like that's the power is strength. If your strength is 100, then his strength is 101. That's how I've always interpreted the Hulk's power.
He's reactive. His strength is reactive to whatever the challenge is.
If you hit him with like a million megaton bomb, he is as strong as 2 million megaton bombs.
You know what's one thing I liked about it? They peppered in that guy again, who's like the colonel or whatever. What's his name?
Yeah.
Ross.
Yeah,
Yes.
Ross.
And they keep
Which
peppering
was
him in.
Betty's
Yes.
dad.
And they keep like peppering him in to a lot of things lately because I think he's going to be coming in right as
the Red Hulk
at some point. So like they want to make sure people don't forget this is that character.
There's a lot of talk about Team Red, which is
well, isn't there a She-Hulk show coming out, right?
Yes,
so he might have something to do with that.
And Mark Ruffalo has been caught on set twice.
Yeah, that could be misdirection though. Who knows?
They
do that stuff like that. So he could just be like dropping in too, just say hi.
I mean, it's like they filmed multiple endings for Endgame, so Tom Holland wouldn't release anything. Or Ruffalo.
Yeah, Ruffalo's just dead.
They did that in Game of Thrones, actually. Fun fact, when they shot the meeting, no, not even like, remember when they had that meeting in King's Landing between everybody who hates each other? They had the Night King there at that meeting because like they wanted to misdirect people who were like spying on the film.
Wow.
So it's not, that's not out of the realm possibility. Like,
sure.
directors do stuff like that all the time.
And then going back, the only other death we had was Clint. And again, he was talking and then that was it. And they don't know what it was.
Yeah, it was confusing. It was like they were all just magically dying.
Dead.
Yeah.
And then Scarlet Witch got her ass kicked.
Yes, she did. But she also kicked her ass out of prison. She kicked. That was a pretty dope scene. And Crossbones was in it too.
Yes.
So
was the actual voice actor.
So before we get into Black Widow, Fury, and the reveal of who the villain is, you guys notice the Watcher in the background at certain
So I love that.
Yes, I really enjoyed that. But did that happen in episodes 2 or 1?
I don't recall seeing it.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe or maybe not though. Maybe
not
in the first 2, but
I don't really. So this was a theory that we had. I have a whole new theory now. Putting a theory in the middle of our conversation about the characters. I think so. Last time, I think Scagz, you presented the question if we are going to see some type of overall story arc. And I had time to think about that question since the last time. And I say, no, I don't think so. Because one of the what if episodes we're going to get is what if the zombie apocalypse broke out in the Marvel universe and Wolverine and the Hulk are zombies and it's impossible to kill them, blah, 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 blah. So I don't think like we're going to get this big story arc where all the shows are going to connect to each other.
All the episodes, yeah.
But yeah, all the episodes are going to connect to each other. But and we're going to talk.
Episode.
He was?
Sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, second episode.
So what I think is the story arc that we're going to see is the Watcher's story arc through this. Because in every episode, he's more and more apparent. And the big thing is the Watcher cannot interfere. And maybe in the last episode, he interferes.
Okay, that's a good point. We'll get into that as we go here.
When we get into the next episode, I'm going to re-bring up this theory.
Yeah, definitely.
Because that just popped in my head. I was like,
yeah, it's a good point. Very keen observation there, Cap.
I'm searching through scene photos to see if I can find them in anything.
So who are we up to?
So
we're basically up to who it is.
Yeah.
Or
we can talk about the villain. We could talk about Fury. Or,
let's get. I mean, we've been beating around the bush here with the characters. Let's get into the villain here. I was shocked. I was shocked too. Yeah. I was like, what?
Was in no way at all. I had no suspicions on anybody. I really had no clue who it could have possibly been. Maybe Coulson, but I don't really know. That would have been my only other logical explanation because Fury is a little too like, no, I need to know who did this because it has been my plan for years. And are we saying who it is?
Yeah, let's say who it is. So
right,
it's Hank Pym, and I mean it made sense being the way everything clicked when I saw it was Hank Pym. Right? Oh, okay, that's how this made sense because he could go so small and just kill people. You don't even see him. That's why it looked weird when everybody died. But at the same time, I was like, what? Like
there's been so I never expected Hank Pym. He was Yellow Jacket. He wasn't Ant-Man.
Yeah.
And it's more of that suit brings upon evil than, you know what I mean? No matter how good you are. In the comic books, there has been points and times where Hank Pym kind of floats back and forth between the light and the dark side. And I think even, what was Paul Rudd's name? Oh, it's at the tip of my tongue.
Scott Lang.
Scott Lang. Yeah. Where he might have done the same thing too. like Yellow Jet, like I believe in some of the comics and some of the cartoons, Hank Pym also created Yellow Jacket, not the villain from Ant-Man. So like it's like the alternate personality. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it was a great twist, and the reasoning behind it was even better because like this wasn't like the first attempt to bring the Avengers together.
Right. It was, you got my wife killed basically. So
Yeah.
I'm getting
No, it was his daughter.
Was his daughter?
Well,
or
It was
both.
Hope.
Both.
All right, that's true.
Was it both?
Yeah, I think it was both.
I thought it was the wife who was like stuck in the quantum realm or whatever, and I thought she was dead. No, I know, but I thought like that was the rationale. Like you using my wife as like a hero got her, like killed. He doesn't realize she's in the quantum realm, and now I'm taking. That's the way I interpret it. I could be completely wrong.
I might have just missed that, but yeah, for this one, it was mostly we know about Hope, and I was like, oh, Hope's dead. Okay, there is no Scott, so that's also part of it.
It was a great twist. And the thing I liked about this twist is that we finally got to display like Nick Fury as a hero. Nick Fury's always been a Marvel hero. He's had his own comic book. He's popped up in numerous cartoons, popped up in numerous storylines as a badass Punisher, Black Widow, assassin that could take the beating and is the strategy genius, the super agent that could withstand it all. And we got to we never got to see that side of Nick Fury in the movies, which is a bit upsetting. He was kind of the glue that brought it all together, but like he's just as badass as anybody else on the team.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Right. He's like a superhero in his own right.
Yeah.
But the movies used him more of like the glue, like you said, or like the guy, the man with
putting
the plan.
Together the team.
Right. The coach. Yes, the coach. That's a great way to put it. Not showing all, the coach used to be like a Hall of Fame quarterback himself. You know what I mean? So yeah,
dude.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, if you look back through Nick Fury in the comic books, I mean, flying jetpacks, secret agent 007 gadgets, always has the right tool for the job, like Batman. And he's a hero. Bottom line.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, that's.
I also like too how he ran right away to the beeper to call Captain Marvel.
Yeah,
which I also like because we get left on a cliffhanger where like, oh, maybe if we get What If season 2, we might get episode 2 of this universe.
Yeah, because I think it was more so like, because at that point within like phase 1, she was not a thing. Nobody knew of her. Now watching it, you're like, oh,
he did.
He really could have like,
oh yeah, he could have
called her in at any time.
Mm-hmm.
He just waits till it's like dire.
Something super serious, right? They must have had that agreement. Like it has to be something like very major.
Yeah,
for you to call me.
Mm-hmm. And so Iron Man, Hulk, and Thor just died, and Hawkeye.
So yeah, right. The whole team.
Did she die? Basically, she died. I thought she lived.
No, I could have sworn she died after because like he has the voicemail from her. Doesn't have her.
Oh herself. Yes, that's right. That's right. She gets beat up. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry.
Makes sense, right? He was on the mission to kill the whole team. He basically succeeded.
Like she was, I think, his hardest one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which also shows how crazy Pym technology is as well. That he took out the Avengers.
I want to point out when Hank and Fury are fighting, Fury like stops him when he's like this big.
Yeah.
That's
how like, good Fury is.
He got like some big reflexes.
Was that Fury? I thought that was Loki that did that. Wasn't it?
No, I think
no, it was Loki.
It was Loki.
It was Loki. It was.
Oh, wow.
It was Loki. Was
pretending to be.
Yeah.
Fury.
What is it? Technical. Loki gave us a technical aspect, the illusion casting or whatever, right? And he was making himself look like Fury. And that. So Loki is more powerful than Hank Pym, and he could throw the smack it down.
So technically, what I just said about Fury being a hero again is null and void.
Well, no,
they still didn't.
His plan.
Yeah,
it was his plan,
Loki
but
was just convenient.
But he wasn't the fighter. He didn't do the.
He wasn't the one pulling the punches. Yeah.
But that doesn't make you less of a hero.
Yeah, he's still a hero. It was his plan.
Yeah,
he just used Loki to his advantage.
So let's give it ratings. Let's go. You go first, Cap. What do you want to rate it?
I'm gonna give it an 8. I really liked it. I like seeing the Watcher in the background. it was an overall good mystery episode with a great storyline and continuity. I still don't know if you could kill Thor with I really find it far-fetched that Hawkeye can kill Thor within like 2 seconds flat. But it was good. It had a little bit of everything, and I enjoyed it. So
I just want to point something out. So in that moment, they weren't trying to kill him. They were just trying to stop him.
Oh, I get it. And I know Hank Pym, caused that chain reaction. But if Hank Pym didn't do it and Hawkeye was just like, F it, like theoretically, Hawkeye at any point that Thor is not watching just can nail him with an arrow.
Yeah. Shayne?
Still go with my half god thing. I think like 8.5. It hasn't been my favorite from the 3. I still like the T'Challa episode better. Sorry.
Whack.
It was good. Kind of felt a little corny to me, I think, with the whole murder mystery type thing. And, true crime's my thing. But it was a good episode. Not my favorite. But I like the little, movie moments.
Okay. I'm going to give it a 6. It was just okay. It wasn't my favorite thing I've ever watched. It wasn't bad. I thought the Hank Pym twist was a little weird. And I could not help but be just annoyed that it was not Scarlett Johansson voicing. Basically, she had probably the most speaking parts of the whole episode, and it didn't like most of the other castings sound like the characters, and this one really did not sound like her. I didn't think so.
No,
it was a distraction. Scagz. It was a distraction, and that just took away from the whole thing.
From the second she opened her mouth, I realized it wasn't her. And I was like, you can tell.
Yeah. And the more
I thought Robert Downey Jr. did Iron Man.
Yeah, he didn't have much speaking role. Like the more Black Widow spoke in this, the more annoyed I got. I'm like, oh my God, they keep giving her lines and it's not her. Why? So
Thor had
6.
Thor had no lines, so they didn't need a voice actor for him.
Well, they got him to do Throg.
It was Fury. What?
They got Chris Hemsworth to do Throg.
Yeah, they got him to do the Frog for that 30 second, that 2-second scene.
Yeah, and Loki.
I'm trying to think who else. Fury is Fury. Clint is Clint. Literally everybody else was the same. Even the Betty Ross was Betty Ross from the movie.
Yeah.
Agent Ross was also Agent Ross.
All right.
So pretty much the only ones were Scarlet and Iron Man.
All right. Let's wrap that up. So that's episode 3, and we are going to move on now to
episode 4.
What if Doctor Strange lost his heart instead of his hands?
Yes. Now this was something special to me. I just watched this before we did this, and I'm gonna just start off with this was my favorite one out of all 4 so far. I thought it was cool, kind of because, like you were saying before, it was like rehashing the movie a little bit. It had a little bit to do with time travel, which I'm a big time travel, causal time loop nerd. It also was interesting because he has a big movie coming up that's critical to a lot of stuff that's happening.
2 movies. You got Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's true. Right. He's going to be in Spider-Man also. And I feel like we found some new information on the time travel stuff.
Definitely found some new TVA information.
Right. Or just
I agree.
They're just like time travel information in a what if episode, which I was not expecting. Yeah. But you guys go ahead.
I just want to start out by saying I never watched Doctor Strange.
Oh no.
That's the only one I saw in the theaters and I fell asleep.
But watch it and then we'll do a Doom review, even though it's been a while.
It's good. I mean, I don't think it was one of the most special ones, but it was crazy.
Super excited to see it. And I went to go see it and I fell asleep, which I knew I was gonna do.
Okay.
I'm disappointed in myself.
It definitely an interesting concept. I had to keep reminding myself that this is like a different universe because I kind of feel like Doctor Strange would be too smart to go down this path, but it's because he lost his heart, not his hands. When I read the title, I thought there was possibly going to be some type of Iron Man aspect to this.
I was thinking,
me
physical, too. Not emotional.
Yes,
yeah, me too. Like I thought he would literally lost his heart
because Iron Man's chest piece, the arc reactor is to keep the metal from going into his heart. So I thought like Iron Man was going to save Doctor Strange, and we were going to have an Eye of Agamotto fucking arc reactor, which would be probably insane. But definitely an interesting concept. It was middle of the road for me. I think it was good, but like there was a lot of build up to just the end fight, you know. But we did get some good information, I think. So let's just break it down.
Yeah. So I mean, so I love this, right? Because first of all, it had like a Groundhog Day vibe to it.
Yes.
Where obviously he loses. What's her name again? Christine. And he takes, that's what drives him to become Doctor Strange. And when he gets the Eye of Agamotto, he realizes he could do time travel. So he gets into this like Groundhog Day situation where he keeps reliving the same day over and over again, trying to save her, but she just keeps dying in different ways each time. Like sometimes, like destiny or whatever, it's you can't escape it. It's always going to happen. And that's what leads us to, which I thought was new information regarding timelines and time travels and whatever. So when the Ancient One says that there's absolute points in time where things that happen cannot be changed no matter what. I don't think we knew of that up until this point,
that
right?
Just proves
I don't think so.
You can't beat death. Once you're dead, you're dead.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was specifically
it was
a death point. It was just there are just certain things that are absolute points in time that cannot be changed.
She
I think
had to die.
I think her death was an absolute point to create the Sorcerer Supreme. If I died on the same road, he could have brought me back, and it wouldn't have been an absolute, point in time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I think also this gets into this gets into causal time loop stuff, right? Like Hodor became Hodor because him in the past said,
like, no matter
hold
what,
the door.
He had to be
right. He couldn't get to the point he was at trying to revive her if she didn't die.
Because then he wouldn't be him.
Exactly. So like it's like physics. I don't know. It's time travel.
I know. I get what you're saying. Like if he ended up saving her, how could he possibly save her? Because her death caused him to learn how to use his powers.
Exactly.
To save her. Right.
If she becomes saved, how'd you do it then? Like how does the universe has to come to an end because it's such a rip in the timeline. You used your future self to save your past self with technology you learned from the future. I know it's weird and difficult to say, but I get you.
It would undo, which is basically the moral of the story here. It would undo the universe, almost. So one thing I liked about it too is that there was this like he becomes a bad guy, right? Well, one of him does,
yes,
and he's like,
hold on. Before we go into the bad guy, it's very interesting to see how powerful the Enchanted One is, right? Where she was able to secretly split
the Timeless One, right?
Yeah. She was able to split Doctor Strange into two timelines. And it's also interesting because we're just coming off of Loki to see that you can split somebody in two timelines. There are people who have been there before us that have tried to change timelines. There's information out there, so it just ties in Doctor Strange's whole world that much deeper and connected to the TVA. You know what I mean? I'm sure the what were the three fake bosses' names in the TVA?
Timekeepers.
The Timekeepers. The Timekeepers are very, close and tied into enchanted people like Doctor Strange and the Enchanted One.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So
there's other people who have been outside of
the Ancient One. We keep saying, we both got the name wrong. You said the Enchanted One. I said the time.
In my head, I'm saying the Ancient One, but I'm like, maybe.
Well, it's always an episode. It's always an episode of how badly I could butcher their names.
Yeah.
So
and I couldn't even help you because I did see this movie.
Yeah.
So I mean, I thought it was cool his descent into like darkness, Doctor Strange, like the bad Doctor Strange, and how he had to like absorb life forms. And I wasn't sure where he was getting these random monsters from. I thought he was gonna like become evil in terms of he's gonna start like absorbing other people and get like real dark real quick, but he didn't. Just like taking monsters.
The
gnome.
The gnome was funny, yeah.
The like crazy version of him. My brother used to watch Superhero Squad. It was actually a really good cartoon. and he was reminding me of the Doctor Strange in that.
Yeah.
And at that time, I didn't know who Doctor Strange was. So when he was finally coming in, I'm like picturing this like actually like crazy person, because that's how he's depicted in the cartoon. So I was kind of getting like both sides of his character in that cartoon within this one episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what also, Cap, you'd appreciate this. I also had a very Anakin Skywalker vibe from it. Almost like I'll turn to the dark side in order to save the woman I love, no matter the cost. So I got a very, and he was dark. He was like red. It had a very Star Wars.
You were the chosen one.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
What I thought was cool was the Hydra squid made another appearance randomly, right?
I was gonna say, do we want to say that that's the same?
Oh, it's the same
enchanted creature, man.
I think it's all going to come back to the Tesseract.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Why not?
It's the only, that's the only thing that makes sense, because Peggy jumped through the Tesseract and ended up in 2012.
Right.
He opens whatever, and all of a sudden the Tesseract squid comes out. So
and
it's like
centuries later.
Yeah, that was an interesting tidbit too, that he was in there absorbing creatures for centuries. That's pretty crazy. Yeah, like in the show, it seemed like only a few, a minute or two, but it was centuries.
Well, it showed like the nights and days and the weather and the mountains.
Yeah, but you didn't think it was centuries.
Yeah, no, I didn't imagine that at all. But it doesn't make sense how he locked himself in there for centuries, but it's only been seconds for the other Doctor Strange. Like, how long was he sitting at that window drinking whiskey for? Like, was he sitting at the window drinking whiskey for centuries? Because
no, because the
time
other
travel.
Yeah, I guess.
Well,
if it's two different timelines,
like, he went into like a different timeline. Yeah, but two timelines. It's
two timelines collided, and that's kind of what's throwing it off.
His timeline was split in the same. It's two timelines in the same universe.
Right, and the dark Doctor Strange just went further down the timeline than the regular one did,
which is kind of unexplained, but it's cool.
It's time travel.
Time travel.
Yeah.
That's the logical answer for everything.
What I really liked about it is that Doctor Strange can sense the Watcher, and Doctor Strange can even speak to the Watcher and hear.
That was crazy to me.
Yes, and that's why. So my theory earlier, I think the What If season is going to be some sort of a story arc for the Watcher. I think every episode he's going to get a little bit more involved, a little bit more present, until he finally interferes.
Like, he just seemed so angry.
The Watcher?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, Doctor Strange,
like, he was literally like you have to really piss off that Watcher for him to like get involved. Because he's literally like, I just watch. Yeah. I just watch. And now all of a sudden he's like, what did you do? Like, this is why you don't do this.
Do you guys think that the Watcher does have the power to intervene and like fix things if necessary? No, he doesn't, but could he?
I think it might be like stuck between like a rock and a hard place type of deal. Like, I think he does have the power, but I think he knows if he does use that power, you destroy the timeline and you destroy that universe. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, it couldn't exist. That was the whole point, that Dark Side Doctor Strange was going to bring back his girl at whatever the cost was, and it still failed. It was an absolute point. And like, if the Watcher got involved, the outcome was the end of this universe. The two Doctor Stranges battled it out. It was the end of no matter what, you screwed up that absolute point, and it only results in one thing.
Yeah. Definitely. So one other thing I thought I really liked about this is that like Love was like the bad guy had a deep story. Mm-hmm. Like, I hate like the stories like he's bad just because he's bad. Like, this was believable. Like, Love, power. Like this like, love that he had for her drove him mad to be evil. It made sense. Like, if anything's going to drive you to be evil, it's love. That's why Anakin's storyline made some sense in that regard.
Yeah, that's why I had to keep reminding myself, like, this is a different universe.
Yes.
Because, like, in the MCU, Doctor Strange is smart enough to know to not go down that path. But also, he didn't get his heart broken. He got his hands broken.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, like,
it only affected, like, him physically. Yeah. It didn't affect him emotionally and mentally.
Shows, like how...
he's human.
it really drives the point of the What If series that these slight differences in moments in time create a whole nother storyline.
Right. It opens up the question of like, if you went back in time and stepped on a caterpillar, would it change the course of human history?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Just like in the first episode when the Watcher was like, this is the point that changed everything in the timeline. And then she became, Captain Carter.
Yeah, I really do like the premise of that in general. It's interesting. It's cool. It's like a cool thing to explore. And you could just like write stories, trillions of different stories based on that.
That's the beautiful part of the What If series. Like, as long as people are going to watch, they could just, what I mean? Like, pump this up. You could literally just do like Marvel, like roulette, and just be like, okay, let's spin the wheel. Captain America, spin the wheel again. Magneto. What if Magneto was a super soldier? Pump out an episode.
Yeah.
It's just
whether it's good or not, I don't know, but it's unlimited options. It's crazy.
So towards the end of their battle or whatever, and Dark Strange, let's call him. I guess he kind of like succeeds, right? And he actually ends up bringing her back from the dead. And you see. It was cool, right? Because it felt like a black hole, a like inescapable like doom was like surrounding. Even like the screen was like the black was like shrinking around them into this like little crystal he used to like protect himself and her, and then she ends up disappearing. And correct me if I'm wrong, it was just him in the end, right? Like he's just in that, right?
And in that ball,
right in that ball, like just disappears into nothing.
Something I want to mention. That little ball that he created before the universe collapsed in on itself was red and hexagonal-ish, just like the dome
WandaVision.
Scarlet Witch created. Little similarities.
I think they're trying to get the witchcraft of runes.
She made her own timeline on the planet. This was him trying to protect the last moments of this timeline. What I also liked is he became all the creatures that he consumed. We finally saw this is what he turned into to change this absolute. You know what I mean? He turned himself into a monster to get what he wants, and he wasn't going to get it anyway. She tried running from him.
I was going to ask you guys, do you think his movie will cross paths at all with some of these ideas, or maybe even that Dark Strange in any way? Being that the movie's called The Multiverse of Madness.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of speculation from people after the like No Way Home trailer that feel like he's not him.
Right.
Like there's something off. And again, I don't have more to go off of other than Infinity War and Endgame, where he just seemed very like, I'm not going to do anything other than what I'm supposed to.
And
now all of a sudden he's like, yeah, sure. Let's change time.
So
nobody needs to know about you.
Yeah. So kind of like what I've been saying is the MCU Doctor Strange would be smart enough to not go down this path to change this absolute point.
Right.
Kind of the same thing in saying the MCU Doctor Strange would be smart enough not to erase the world's memory of Peter Parker, where it could be Mysterio or whatever the hell his name is.
Yeah, because the whole point was like, I can't use the time stone for anything.
Yeah.
Right. Now he's liberally using it.
One thing. So like, what's to say another Doctor Strange didn't go crazy and be like, I'm going to come here now.
Yeah. I to answer your question, Scagz, I don't think what we just saw is going to play a big part in Spider-Man or Doctor Strange's movies, but I think there will be some Easter eggs or references.
That's what I'm thinking. Right. I could see us watching Doctor Strange's movie and being like, oh, remember we talked about that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that, look, that reminds me of something that happened in the What If episode of it.
I think we could get a couple of Easter eggs out of it. I'd be surprised if it's like part of the storyline.
All right. Yeah, I agree with that. Definitely. All right. So what do you guys, you got anything else you want to share about this episode before we rate it?
All the voices are the actual actors.
Yeah, that was another thing that made this one a lot
but
better,
how many different characters were in it? It was
but
Doctor
it's just
Strange.
The fact that they didn't replace any of them. Like it's all, even Rachel McAdams came in for her like 3 lines.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's key.
It's like the only one that has had every single person.
Go ahead, Cap. You go first.
So rating wise, I'm going to give it like a 7. It's unfortunately not my favorite one. I enjoyed the story. I enjoyed diving deeper into time travel and how the different universes work and stuff like that. It just wasn't my favorite because there was a lot of time. It was a lot of build up to the one fight, and then it ended on that sad and somber note. You know what I mean? Like end of episode 3, Captain Marvel shows up. They just discovered Captain America's body. End of episode 2, T'Challa is back in Wakanda and could become the Black Panther now. End of episode 1, Captain Carter is in modern day New York, and Nick Fury is working with her to become an Avenger. This was like a stone cold ending of the universe, of the storyline. Doctor Strange failed. That was it. Good night. So I liked it. It's a good concept. It's just not my favorite.
So let me go next because I'm going to piggyback off of right what you said, except I'm going to give it a 10. I loved the fact that that's what they did and that it was a poetic, stone cold, heartbreaking ending just that crushed you. You know what I mean? It wasn't like a, yay, the good guys win in the end all the time. The Avengers win. It was, no, this is what if, right? Anything can happen here. And we didn't win this one. The entire universe was erased. So I liked that it was different. I thought that was like admirable. And the whole story was like poetic in a way. Did you give it a number rating? I just realized 7. Okay. So the love story angle of it, the time travel aspect of it, I loved. I liked how they got another Dormammu, I've come to bargain in there after he said that 1,000 times in the movie of his. Like they snuck one more in this. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a 10. I enjoyed the shit out of it. I thought the fight scene was cool. That
was a great scene.
The monsters,
there was a lot of build up.
The monsters were cool. The overall, I thought for me it was perfect.
Shayne?
I'm gonna go with the 7. I think it's mostly because I don't really know too much about his actual story to compare it to.
Right.
So I will need to watch the movie and then rewatch the episode. I
think
it was
you
a bad
should.
Episode. I just really don't have anything to like compare and contrast like I could with the other 3, where I was like, this happened in this happened in this happened in this, and this is what they changed. So I can't really compare it, but I do like the whole like Watcher coming in, knowing that now they can interact. But going with what you said, like, it just ends. Maybe that was just Doctor Strange's film ending. Yeah. That timeline's done.
Yeah, I do think that's like, done, right?
Same way we saw Loki's end. He died. And that's how you know Loki died.
Yeah,
he's not coming back.
Right.
I mean, the whole
version, at least.
Yeah. The whole point of everything Marvel does is to leave you hanging and coming back for more. And here's a storyline that just ended like a Thanos snap, man. Goodbye.
It could have just, like we said, maybe they're not all related. Some of them are just one off. Maybe some of them are, some of them aren't. Or maybe it's like like you said, and like the one constant, the one overarching story is the Watchers, this Watcher's story. And we'll see maybe in the last episode or whatever, it'll come to fruition of him having to do something. Yeah. All
right. So
wrap it up.
Doom Nation. It's been another Doomed review. We hope you guys enjoyed it. We hope you guys are enjoying Marvel What If. We're going to probably get some more beer reviews in. We're going to be You know what? Give us some comments and let us know what you want us to review.
Yeah. You know what we're going to be reviewing? Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, right?
Yes. I don't know if I'm going to get to watch that this weekend, so we shall see. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. Doom Nation, thank you again. Join us next week. See you guys later.
Bye.
Later.